Von Miller, hey, talk about ultimate boss moves. Von Miller tweeted yesterday, I kind of want that old thing back, 5280. And as Chris knows, because he lived in Denver, that is a reference to the Mile High altitude, not the Mile High Club. So how about Von Miller winning a Super Bowl with the Broncos, being Super Bowl MVP, then getting traded at a time when the team stinks, and winning a Super Bowl with the Rams, then becoming a free agent and coming back to the Broncos when they have Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson at quarterback and winning another Super Bowl. That is a boss move.
It would be. That sounds like a guy that's, putting things on social media that didn't like his first offer from the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, that's what that looks like to me. I mean, again, because it just seems like everything was good in L.A. There's just a lot to like there. We heard he got the ultimate endorsement with Aaron Donald. Von's back, OBJ's back, I'll be back. All right, that's a big part of it. But yeah, I'm sure. Hey, we know the Rams got some high price players. They got to juggle some money here, and yeah, Von Miller probably wants a good chunk of change still. He's going, wait, did you see how the way I played down the stretch of the regular season, the playoffs? He was one of the best pass rushers in football the last 5 or 6 weeks of the year. So that's what that seems like for sure, that he didn't like that first number thrown out there to his agent and company.
All right, which doesn't belong and why? Free agency preview edition. Pass rushers over the age of 30. Von Miller, Chandler Jones, Jason Pierre-Paul. Which doesn't belong and why?
Well, this is a good one here.
Other than the obvious.
Well, what do you mean? What do you mean other than the obvious?
Let's just continue.
It went right over my head. It went right over my head there.
It went right over your fingers. All right, go ahead.
That's what you were talking about. I thought that's what you meant by it. That's what. Yes, JPP's missing a few fingers for sure. He doesn't have a full deck. How dare you? He doesn't belong. I think if I'm going to go with this one right here, though, I am going to go with like Chandler Jones. I think he's the one that I look at as far as like Von Miller. I feel like it's going to be in L.A. or Denver. JPP. Huge part of the Tampa Bay organization, certainly. I think that time's come to an end. Chandler Jones, I'm going to pick him just because he's still the marquee player of the Arizona Cardinals front seven. That's where it's a little different that way. They got some good players up front. We know they got J.J. Watt and company. Good, but again, not to the capabilities of a guy like Chandler Jones who – it's a little different, I think, in these situations because maybe he's got a little bit more power than the other two guys here in this scenario as far as his worth to the football team.
I'm just going to go very basic here and say it's Von Miller because he stands out among the others.
Yeah,
he's the future Hall of Famer of the crowd. He's the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
And the idea that he's caught in this love triangle with the Broncos and the Rams is awesome. And, hey, Von, play it for everything it's worth. Get paid. This is your last chance. This is your last chance to get paid. Get paid, Von Miller. All right, next category, players who were franchise tagged last year. Allen Robinson of the Bears, Brandon Scherff of the Washington Commanders, Marcus Williams of the Saints. Which doesn't belong and why?
Well, I guess I'm going to go there with Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, just in the fact that, really good football player, been stuck in a bad offense with not great quarterback play the last few years. Scherff, it's like kind of like, what is he? What's his worth on the open market? How is he going to be evaluated? I know how the other two are going to be evaluated. That's why I picked Allen Robinson. Brandon Scherff's definitely one of the best guards in football. He's going to get top-of-the-line money for that position. Marcus Williams, definitely one of the better free safeties and one of the best free safeties in football. He is one of the best. Playing center field, can cover people, pretty good coming down, run it and tackling in the run game, but has great value in the pass game. Allen Robinson, to me, is a little bit of, I guess, a question mark. I think it was a big deal last year that they even got franchised. We talked about it last year, right, with Allen Robinson. It was a little like it seemed like he gauged the open market and probably didn't see some of the things he liked and went, okay, wait, you'll give me the franchise tag? I'll take it. But, of course, didn't have a huge statistical year or anything like that, so that's why I go with him.
I'm going to go with Scherff just because, to me, well, first of all, there was no way he was going to be tagged because he's been tagged twice before. It would be quarterback money this time. But this is the guy where the next destination is obvious. Just like the Chiefs going after Joe Thuney last year when the Patriots didn't franchise tag him, the Bengals got to go after Brandon Scherff. If they want to send a message to the world that they are serious about building a team around Joe Burrow. This is the crown jewel of their first free agency class, post-Super Bowl appearance. Get that guy, put him in the spot where guys kept getting pushed back into Joe Burrow's face in the Super Bowl. It's obvious, it's clear, and this is the ultimate litmus test. If the Bengals are serious, they get Scherf.
Oh, yeah. I could say that they need to do something there. And there's some offensive linemen to be had in free agency, and the Bengals certainly are going to be one of those teams you would hope to pay top of the line money to get whatever they can to protect Joe Burrow.
Not just top of the line money, but full guarantees for the first 2 years of the deal. They don't do that. They got to change, or they're never going to put the guys around Joe Burrow that they need to. Next topic, potential running back upgrades via trade or free agency. Christian McCaffrey via trade. Saquon Barkley via trade. Leonard Fournette via free agency. Which one doesn't belong and why?
Well, I think Fournette, of course, because he's a free agent. You don't have to trade anything for him. And, Fournette, at the end of his career or coming towards, down the home stretch, but also a guy that compared to the other two is like, kind of dependable, doesn't get hurt a whole lot. I know he had the groin or hamstring injury this year. The other two were like boom or bust at this point. That's where I look at it a little bit. That's why I picked Fournette. McCaffrey and Barkley, yeah, boom, could be superstars, can do things with the ball in their hand that only a few people in the world can do. But at the same time, it's always something, and they play running back, and there's always an injury. So that's where I'll pick Leonard Fournette, just as he doesn't fit with the mold of McCaffrey and Barkley and where they are at their career right now.
Yeah, and look, McCaffrey's a different situation altogether. He's still fairly early in a big money deal. Barkley's got $7.2 million in base salary as his fifth-year option. I think, as I've written and as I think we've said here, the Giants would have to pay a large chunk of it to facilitate a trade. Fournette's the cleanest and easiest. He's going to be a free agent. He was the 4th overall pick in the 2017 draft. All three of these guys were top 10 picks. And frankly, even though McCaffrey has been great and Barkley had 2,000 yards from scrimmage as a rookie, you just don't take running backs in the top 10. You don't do it. And these three guys prove it. Grand scheme of things, you don't do it. McCaffrey had 3 great years to start his career. But if I'm going to use a top 10 pick on a guy, I want a guy that I know is going to, or at least I'm fairly confident is going to give me a return for a decade. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, quarterback. That's what I'm going to do with a top 10 pick. Running back, yeah, you may get 3 great years, then what? And if you're in position to get a high pick, by the time your team starts to get better around that guy, the tread's starting to come off the tires.
Well, that's just crazy.
I think that's the cautionary tale for all three of these guys, even though McCaffrey has been phenomenal when he's healthy.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been two and a half years since he's been phenomenal. I mean, that's the problem, to your point. And they're paying him like he's the best player in the sport at the position. So that's where it stinks. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's not a lot of football. He signed a big money deal, and they've gotten 10 games out of it. 10 out of 32. I mean, that's a crap return for your investment. As awesome as he is, and as much as we like him and everything, yeah, that's brutal. Saquon, yeah, you learned your lessons there. Fournette, there's a lesson to be learned there. Even though we talk about him, I'm sitting there talking about him like he's, an old head, and he's coming down the stretch of the home stretch of his career. He's 27 years old. I mean, it's just the running back position's crazy. It really is. But yeah, Barkley and McCaffrey, that's going to be interesting. Mike, I can't imagine anybody. I don't know. I guess I can't imagine anybody trading a whole lot to get Christian McCaffrey with the current status of his contract, let alone the injuries the last 2 years. Barkley is one where, I don't know. I think I could maybe see that happening, or maybe at least having a chance. I wouldn't sell him down the river for nothing if I'm the Giants, because there is great high-end talent there to be had. I mean, he's one of the freakier guys in the game. But if you feel like, hey, wait, we don't want to pay him, next year or anything, $7.2 million, you might be able to find a trade suitor for that and get him, get some assets for him.
Pre-June 1, it's a tough trade for the Panthers to make. $26.6 million cap charge would happen for the Panthers, and it's an $8.4 million salary this year, so it's not a huge cash obligation relative to some of the other running backs, but I think it's going to be tough to make it happen this year. Maybe next year when the cap hit drops to $12 million, but it's going to be tough to pull it off this year. Next subject, top-tier cornerbacks, which doesn't belong and why. J.C. Jackson, Stephon Gilmore, Carlton Davis.
Well, this is interesting. J.C. Jackson's clearly the like the gemstone of this group. I guess I'm going to pick Stephon Gilmore, though, just say this. These are two guys in J.C. Jackson and Carlton Davis that are still going in an upward trajectory. Carlton Davis has a lot of talent. He should get big money. I mean, not maybe top 2 or 3 cornerback money, but maybe in that top 5, 6, 7 range as far as the NFL is concerned. You know, and still, I think, got a lot of good football. I mean, he's impressive to me physically and some of the things he does. J.C. Jackson, we've talked a lot about him the last 2 days. One of the best corners in the sport. Gilmore, a little bit of a question. I mean, sat out half the year. You know, is he still the player we saw 2-3 years ago in New England? I don't think so. Again, I think we're coming down the home stretch, so that's why I go with Gilmore.
Yeah, Gilmore's had his second contract.
Yeah.
You're right. He's not going to get gigantic money. Jackson will. Davis has a chance to get pretty good money.
Right.
Gilmore, this is just kind of like, all right, hey, last contract, get what you can, but it's not going to be anything close to what you got when you were a free agent back in whatever year it was that he left the
Yeah, he
Bills
seems like a 2 or 3 year deal kind of
thereabouts.
guy, right? Like you give him, 2 years, give him a good signing bonus. He helps out a team that looks at them as not, we're not far away. We don't need, a huge young guy. We just need a guy that can come in here, help us out because we're on the doorstep of being a Super Bowl contender. That's where I feel like Gilmore will end up, some team like that.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.